Hello everyone, and today we are going to be talking about this. Now, again, I have done a lot of talking and a lot of thinking and reflecting on what this video was supposed to be. Originally, it was supposed to be laughing at the PlayStation port, or the PlayStation Portal and stuff, but honestly, that video got a little bit too substantial, and you know what? I decided to cut this off and make it its own smaller-ish video for the end of your week. So we're going to spend about a few minutes talking about the Xbox tax, and why that's actually kind of dumb and stupid if you really think about it. So, what is the Xbox tax, or what is the concept of the Xbox tax? So, this came to my attention mainly over the fact that the Xbox tax tag was actually trending on Twitter a couple days ago. And I looked through some of the tweets and replies and things, and, well, apparently the tax in and of itself, or the quote-unquote tax in and of itself, seems to be something that, as one person puts it, apparently, the Xbox tax is Game Pass $200 a year for mid-games that can't win awards, with a, well, duh. And then someone on the Xbox side said that the Xbox tax is real, but whatever. It won't cancel Bethesda, Activision, King, Blizzard, or whatever, which you're a little bit late on the Bethesda one, as that had no problem going through. It's the Activision thing kind of going through and completing it. So, what the fuck is this Xbox tax? And I'm going to just say it right now. It's a thing that doesn't exist. It's a thing that just doesn't exist. I will, however, say that there is such a thing as media bias. I will agree that there is such a thing as media bias. Maybe not against Xbox specifically, but media bias in general is a thing that just exists overall. Because it's not just on one side either, it's on the other side as well, where, like, bias against this, bias against that. And if you've seen any number of my channels, you'll understand that everyone has biases, and every individual themselves tends to stick and die on specific hills, and I come around and kick them in the balls sometimes. So, because I have my own opinions, and I have my own biases, and other people have their own opinions and their own biases. Overall, that's how the world works. If we were all the same person, it would be very fucking boring. But so, some people say that there is no bias against Xbox is crazy. Lamau, you don't know what the Xbox tax is? Lamau, we going in today. And again, this was taken and retweeted then by another person saying that the Xbox tax is where Metacritic have Xbox publishers have an Xbox publisher for the year of games that were funded by PlayStation and weren't even on Xbox yet. FOH, respectfully. I don't know what the end half of that meant, but the thing with the whole Xbox tax here, and that a lot of people seem to continuously not understand, is that Xbox, in the most recent years, has not had the best in terms of game releases. They're fine. They're okay. In fact, I personally like Starfield, and I also liked Hi-Fi Rush this year. Both of those games, wonderful, fantastic, for what they were. Alright? For what they were, I think that that Starfield was only okay. Getting an 80 is still pretty respectable, and in my opinion, it would have scored differently, maybe on different platforms due to different infrastructures and blah-de-blah-de blah blah. But overall, it seems like certain characters, at least in terms of the reviewers specifically, and this is a super case-by-case basis, by the way, super case-by-case, that certain publishers and certain people seem to have this notion that Xbox is getting reviewed lesser so, because there are certain media biases out there. And I won't say that that's impossible. I will say that there might be some evidence to here. For example, saying that this one here by James, saying that the Xbox tax isn't real and blah, 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 with some memes about a bunch of games and stuff, okay, where it's post a lie or post something stupid, and that's just pretty funny. The next one being another salty Xbox fanboy, my mistake, not PlayStation fanboy, as PlayStation fanboys are a bit more dumber, but, you know, whatever. The Xbox tax is very real. Sadly proved that reviewer sites like IGN, GameSpot, and Kotaku and these other sites are worthless clickbait based on biases of the writer/reviewer. XStation always gets 10 to their scores, while Xbox always gets a -10. And then it's just, I think this is supposed to say be better or something like that. And again, this is mostly in response to Starfield and not getting the Game of the Year things here. And then there's this other one by Tempest Blade, which to me, more or less, kind of reflects something dumb here. At least a little bit. And might be where some certain publications might have media bias. And I will say might, as I'm not going to flat out say like there's a quote-unquote Xbox tax. Just that some review sites can be very harsh to Xbox, or at least it appears that way. Same thing with Sony, absolutely. Certain game publishers can be very harsh to Sony as well. But this one is quoting out Metro, being that the Xbox tax is real. I don't believe that the Xbox tax is real, but I do think that Metro does have some very stupid takes sometimes. Just saying. Yeah, I think we can just kind of skip to the part of where it's my own opinion, because quite honestly, most of the other tweets are just repeating the same thing, and they're from both Xbox fanboys being salty and like blah, blah, blah. And I know that you don't really care too much about that. Okay, to kind of end off the video a little bit here, there are two specific tweets I want to call out. This one right here, saying that was a retweet of why would a company not having GOTY nomination concern you, especially if you have no horse in this race? That's a genuine question. And he then says, I'm a gamer. Oh boy, this is going to be a good take. I want games to be good. On every console. If a console historically has not been up to par with quality of games in recent years, that is a concerning trajectory. Not having even one game nominated as Game of the Year as GOTY in a year you dropped 3 big exclusives is concerning to me. Sir? No. I don't think that should be concerning to you. Because here's the thing. There are a lot of games that come out every year, and they don't get nominated for awards. There's a lot of games that come out like on the daily, right? Games come out all the time. I know that there's a lot of indie games that come out, and they never get nominated for any fucking awards. Ever. They just don't. So not having a one game that was nominated for Game of the Year when you dropped 3 of those big games, that should just be normal, regardless of the company. I mean, yeah, again, most of those are by different companies. Most of those are by the different people, but it's under the same publisher. It's not a concerning trajectory. You should judge them based on the quality of their games and not the amount of awards that they receive. I love games that didn't receive jack shit in terms of awards sometimes. For example, like, I don't know how many awards Ultra Kill has gotten, or how many awards, one of the more recent ones, which I'm reviewing this Saturday, being Forgive Me Father. I don't know how many awards that got, but both of those are indie games. Who the fuck cares about those? I do. Alright? What about Squad? What about EFT? What about Ready or Not? Huh? What about, like, Half-Life Alyx? I think Half-Life Alyx actually got an award or something like that. Like, a lot of those games, though, were not Game of the Year material. Beat Saber. That's pretty awarded, actually. But you get my point. A lot of games that are quote-unquote Game of the Year material, the people, is different dependent on the person. So, it shouldn't be too concerning the amount of awards that a game or franchise or whatever is receiving. If they released 3 big exclusives, that should actually tell you that they're not in as bad of a position as they are. Like, they released 3 games this year. How many games has Sony released this year? 1. As far as I can tell, like, they've only released 1 they've had a hand in producing, that being Spider-Man 2. They've released other quote-unquote exclusives, but they were more contracted exclusives, kind of. So that gets a little bit in the gray area. But Sony has only released the one, and they don't seem to have many plans, and they also then pushed back other projects. See what I mean? And yeah, Microsoft has done the same thing, and they've laid off a ton of people as well, but so did Destiny, and so did Bungie, which is under, like, Sony as well, kind of. It's like, the amount of games that a studio releases or a publisher publishes in a given year should say a bit more about the publishers. And again, you should also judge them, the quality of those games, not based on the awards, but based on verified reviews or based upon your own opinion, you know? It shouldn't matter how many awards they get in that context. At least to me, it doesn't seem like it should matter. Anyway, I think I'm going to end it off with this pretty based take here by one Mr. Badbit. Xbox tax is trending. Jesus Christ. What a bunch of babies. Get a damn grip, people. Starfield being one of my favorite games this year doesn't change because it wasn't nominated. Some of y'all need to grow the fuck up with a bunch of shames. And I agree. This whole thing started because the Game Awards didn't nominate Starfield for Game of the Year. And while I personally would have liked to see it at least be considered for Game of the Year, I don't know if it deserved the nom or not. And in all honesty, now that I think about it objectively and correctly, yeah, it didn't really deserve it. It's a Bethesda RPG. And it's really good for a Bethesda RPG. And I always make sure to quote-unquote say that. And it did get nominated for Best RPG, and I think that it does have a pretty decent shot if it's compared to other games, but I don't think it'll win. So, yeah. In all honesty, though, does it deserve the Game of the Year thing? I don't think so. Does it deserve to be called the Game of a Generation? I don't really think so either. Give it a year. Let the mod tools come out. Let people improve it in the way we've always improved Bethesda games. Alright? It's just the way things tend to fall. But is there such a thing as Xbox tax? No. I think that that's fucking stupid. Alright? It's dumb. Is there such a thing as media bias? Absolutely. I'm not going to say that there's a media bias against Xbox specifically, even though sometimes it does feel that way with certain publications. And again, very case by case here, but there's media bias fucking everywhere. So saying that it's specifically against Xbox in the gaming industry is just kind of wrong. Because what about Xbox-centric game sites that, like, get their codes and stuff? I know that there's, like, a couple that exist, but, like, most reviewers do tend to try to look at it from a more objective standpoint. And, again, to be very honest with Xbox, they've been kind of off their game ever since the 360. Moreover, ever since the Xbox One fucked them over Sunday. They've been making good decisions, right? They've been definitely making good decisions, and Sony does the same thing. But they're both companies also make decisions that are fucking stupid. So yeah, overall, there is no such thing as the Xbox tax, and I think that I'm going to just call it there. If you like what it is that I do and want to support me in any way, shape, or form, other than subscribing and viewing, but your viewership is always enough, links down to everything, my socials and music and stuff, in the description down below. My name is GamePenguin21. Thank you all so much for watching, and a peace off.